Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our morning get together live here on Facebook, where we exchange information about Mexico, headlines from our city, state, and country, questions, comments, ideas, and suggestions that you have, and we put it all together so that we can hopefully have a more connected life here in Puerto Vallarta as a community of English speaking locals. As always, it is a pleasure to see you, and today we're feeling a little bit sleepy. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, and it was, oh my God. Oh, I'm so sorry. I was engaged in a research project that I'll tell you more details about in the second half of the broadcast. And, I went down the rabbit hole, and all of a sudden it was 2 a.m. And I finally decided, okay, Paco, get some sleep. And I couldn't fall asleep until 3. But here we are. And I'm happy to see you, and I have all kinds of fun things to share with you today. But first, we want to welcome everyone in general. We want to welcome those of you that, no, I am not. Oh, you are. Oh, I'm sorry to hear. See, Michael and I crossed paths at Whiskey Kitchen last night, and we had drinkies with Gina, and it was a lot of fun. And I'm sorry to hear that you woke up with a little bit of a hangover. I don't have a hangover, but again, I didn't sleep a lot. And I'll tell you why in a little bit. Anyhow, as always, we welcome friends that have never joined us live before, and we encourage you to let us know that you're here by writing the word new in your comment. We'll give you a nice little welcome. Good morning, Terry. It was such a pleasure to hang out with you last night at Whiskey Kitchen. What a great conversation we had, and we'll talk about that in a little while. And last housekeeping business, as always, if you have something important that you wish to share with the cluster, or you want a reaction or an answer about, please add a capital letter Q at the beginning of your comment. Today, we have important, interesting, funny, and sad news, and a good announcement to share. A couple of interesting announcements. So it should be a fun broadcast. I'm looking forward to it. So let's get started with the news, and we'll look at your comments and questions at the end of the broadcast. Okay. So there was this femicide monument located at Francisco Medina Asensio at the Libramiento, and for no apparent reason, it was removed some 4 months ago, which made a number of collective groups and organizations rather upset, and rightly so. This weekend, after months of pressure from these groups and from families of women that have disappeared or have been murdered, the installation was returned. It's a large pink cross. You will see it when you go by Medina Asensio, particularly if you're heading north in that small little park that is next to where the Libramiento meets the avenue. There was a small ceremony, and Mayor Michel issued an apology and proceeded to mention the name of the 60 women represented in the monument. Hopefully, no names will be added to it. Mayor Michel also vowed to provide all the support from his administration against gender based violence. Now, just in case you didn't know, Puerto Vallarta has its own soccer teams. And I say teams in plural because there is both a male team and a female team. These teams have been competing with other teams from other municipalities in the state of Jalisco in what is known as the Jalisco Cup, which had its finals this past weekend for both the men and the women teams. It took place at the Jalisco Stadium, the third largest stadium in all of Mexico, with 45,200 spectators present to cheer for their teams. And why do I tell you this? Because Puerto Vallarta's women's soccer team won the state cup. Where is the applause when you need it? There you go. The male team, the male winner team was the tequila team, and this is good to know. I mean, it's not a major league soccer business that we're talking about, but it is good to know. I hear that the broadcast is cutting out this morning. Let me make sure that I don't have anything else running. Everything seems to be fine. Let's see what else we have. Anyhow, this is about the female soccer team here in Puerto Vallarta. It's good news. Last time the women's team made the finals was in 2019, but it was beat by the El Salto team. Let's see what else we have. It's another week, of course, and another street closure by SEAPAL was announced. This time around, our waterworks company has published that starting tomorrow, Guadalupe Sanchez Street in El Centro will be closed between Aldama and 31 de Octubre to install 1,316 meters of new pipe. This is for all of us to enjoy fresh water, and this is a good thing. No information was provided as to how long the street will be closed, but please keep in mind if you are driving through downtown Puerto Vallarta, there might be some additional traffic in those streets. I am seeing that some of you are having problems with the broadcast. I hope these problems are rectified through the broadcast itself. Let's see what else. Oh, yes, we are 1 month away from Mexico's Independence Day celebration, which takes place on September 16. Actually, it starts on September 15, right before midnight, but the big day, the day that is a federal holiday, is September 16. And this year, the Secretary of Tourism is already forecasting an excellent year for Puerto Vallarta, and rightly so, given the fact that September 16 is a Friday, which means a long weekend, which means, well, authorities are expecting that 1,012,000 tourists will check in at local hotels, and this is not even counting direct condo and platform rentals for that particular weekend. It is, after all, Mexico's most important celebration, along with Mother's Day. And September is also the month in which the construction of the new pier at Boca de Tomatlan could commence, according to former Puerto Vallarta Mayor Arturo Dávalos, who now oversees beach tourism for the state of Jalisco. And I say could start because this is what Dávalos said. There is still no specific date, but the expectation is that the demolition of the current dock, which is in serious decay and now a danger to people that use it, could begin in September. Now, let us turn over to the weather forecast, and then we'll continue with a few other headlines and announcements. You were fracking asking for this, says our snarky weather today. Today, or presently, we're enjoying 26 degrees Celsius humidity at 95%, 79 degrees Fahrenheit. And our weather forecast for today says we're going to have rain and humidity through the day with a high of 30 and a low of 24. Tomorrow, Tuesday, we'll have rain and humidity with a high of 29 and a low of 24. And on Wednesday, we'll have rain in the afternoon and evening with a high of 30 and a low of 24. Yay. Yay, rain. Yay, weather. And now I want to tell you about yesterday. Yesterday, I was chilling at home and I had some errands to run, and I decided, I'm going to go visit Gina at Whiskey Kitchen. I haven't seen her in a while, and we started chatting, and she told me that she was going to be serving and she was going to be cooking chamorro, which is pork shank. And I figured, oh my God, I can't imagine what Gina's take on chamorro would be, but I was intrigued, and I posted on our Facebook page that I would be hanging out at Whiskey Kitchen in case anybody wanted to join. And one of you joined, Terry. We had a lovely conversation. We had a great time listening to some live music. And then, quite surprisingly, Michael Beaufort and his partner came in. So we spent the latter half of the visit, just Michael and his partner, and Gina and I having great gossip conversations about other local restaurants. But check out the chamorro that I had. Hold on just a second. I need to cue this so that I can show you. This is what Gina served, this delicious, delicious pork shank, which I enjoyed immensely. I don't think she's going to have it on a regular basis, but I was very fortunate to have it yesterday. Now, what's wrong with this picture? Take a quick look at this picture and tell me what's wrong with it. Well, there's nothing wrong with it, actually. But it is a picture that I took from a Cessna propeller plane back in June of 2004. If you notice carefully, there's no La Isla, there's no peninsula, there's no fluvial. There's no a lot of things. And you see, what happens is I've been spending a fair amount of time in the past few days going through my old photograph archive and finding photos of old Vallarta. Well, old to me, as in I've been here for 20 years. And what the reason I'm doing this is because I'm thinking, let's get together and take a look at some of these photos, and let's share stories about people that have been celebrities that are no longer here, or people that visited, or buildings that are no longer there, or buildings that are new. So to make a long story short, this week we are going to have a special members-only broadcast this coming Thursday at 5 p.m. So I'm giving myself between now and Thursday to continue curating a huge collection of old photographs from Puerto Vallarta that you may enjoy taking a look at, including stories of people, places, etc., and also some old photographs of me. Why not? Of your host. And hopefully through these photographs, you will end up being a little bit more informed about who I am, where I came from, but also about some of the changes that we've seen in our city taking place for the last couple of decades. So if you are a current member of Coffee and Headlines, you will get an announcement for where to tune in on this special members only broadcast. And of course, as usual, when we have these monthly broadcasts, we also invite some of you to come onto the broadcast with me so that we can get to know you better. If you are not currently a Coffee and Headlines member, all you have to do is go to the Buy Me a Coffee link that we share at the beginning of the broadcast and at the end, so that you can enjoy a membership, which in turn allows us to continue producing content for you. Moving right along, I was happy to learn this morning that the Living Room Bookstore is having Tea and Tarot Tuesdays. I didn't know this, but apparently every Tuesday, our dear friend Susan Amani who is a psychic. A psychic. She's a psychic, and she is available on Tuesdays from 2 to 5 at the Living Room Bookstore to converse with you, to have tea with you, to maybe read your tarot cards if you want them read, and and there you have it. If you have a free afternoon and you'd like to spend some time in Marina Vallarta, that's a place for you to go. And the last headline that I have to share with you is not about Puerto Vallarta, but you know me, I am a sucker for animal stories, and I had been following the one on Freya. I don't know if you been watching things about Freya? Freya is a 600 kilo female walrus that developed the habit of climbing onto small boats in the coasts of Norway, amusing spectators, but also causing considerable damage to a number of vessels, despite warnings from the government to people not to take selfies with Freya. People did not follow the government advice, and although walruses are a protected species, Freya was unfortunately put to sleep by Norwegian authorities based on an overall assessment of the animal's threat to human safety. I collected a few photos of Freya doing her thing, and again, Freya decided to lounge on a number of vessels and destroying them or damaging them considerably, which is sad. I mean, authorities were hoping that Freya would just eventually get tired or bored of doing this, but Freya didn't. And now Freya rests in peace in animal heaven. Now, let us take a quick look at your comments and questions to see what everybody is up to. Thank you for perking me up, by the way. I don't feel sleepy anymore. Maybe I'll feel sleepy again when we're done with the broadcast. But it was fun going through all those photographs. And I still have quite a few to go through to curate so that we can have a fun members-only get-together on Thursday afternoon. Let's take a quick look. Ta-da-ta-da. Oh, yummy. Kimberly is having tacos de tripa at Rincón Chilango in Palmar de Aramara. I'm not familiar with the place, but that sounds delicious. Thank you for joining us this morning. Let's see. Ta-da-ta-ti-ta-ta. Dave is coming back to Puerto Vallarta from Paris. Yay. I love it. Let's see what else. John says, good morning, everyone. No longer in Tijuana. It got a little cuckoo. I understand there's been a little bit of violence up there. Let's see what else. Ding, 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 ding. Do, 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 do. I hope some of the broadcast woes went away. Again, some things are in my control, other things not so much. Sherry says, and Sherry is absolutely correct, Boca de Tomatlan is a great place to sit over lunch on the beach. You know, it's so easy to get there. All you do is you take a city bus and you sit on the right-hand side of the bus because that's the side that faces the ocean. Boca de Tomatlan is the last stop you can get to by if you ride a city bus. And once you get there, there's a bunch of restaurants and palapa opportunities to just sit and chill and spend the day. It's something that we should all do if we haven't done it. Joe says, had to share. Has anyone watched on Netflix the new series Uncoupled? Absolutely fabulous series, highly recommended. I haven't watched it. I believe it is, it features, what's his face, the Broadway star, Neil Patrick Harris. I haven't watched it, but I'll definitely keep an eye on it. Maybe I'll watch an episode or two, and if I get hooked, I'll get hooked. I finished watching Succession on HBO this weekend, and that the end of the third season was absolutely crazy. Ryan asks, my spouse and I will be in Puerto Vallarta for Mexican Independence Day for the first time. What kind of festivities and celebrations can we expect? Okay, good question. What goes on? Well, a lot of restaurants and clubs make it an opportunity. I was going to say excuse, but take the opportunity to create special events, special features, special dinners. The city has fireworks on September the 15th, the tradition of Mexican independence, and we'll get into detail as we get closer, is that the mayors and the governors and the president all go to their city hall, and they, at midnight on September the 15th, they proclaim the names of the heroes of the independence, and they add their own personal flair. So not local, Mexican news outlets always comment on who different governors and mayors mention in their chants. And if this doesn't make much sense, again, we'll explain it as we get closer to the date. But more specifically, celebrations and such. On September 15, there's fireworks on the Malecón, which can be enjoyed from all kinds of places. If there are restaurants that have a direct view to the Malecón, you can expect these restaurants to have higher prices and expect reservations early on if you want to watch the fireworks. And on September 16th, which is the day that we take off, there's usually a Mexican Independence Parade that goes through the city. And that's essentially what goes on. If I find out any more specifics, Ryan, between now and then, I will be so happy to share. Kelly, you have nothing to thank me for. You are a friend of mine. You are a friend of this broadcast. You have one of the very few bookstores here in Puerto Vallarta, certainly one of the few that carry books in English. And as long as you post Facebook events and I find them or you point them in my direction, I am always happy to mention your activities. Let's see what else. Ay, Mateo. A Fiestas Patrias weekend was my first visit to Puerto Vallarta, but in 1978. That is yesterday. Let's see what else we have. We have enjoyed the interesting early pictures posted at La Palapa. That is correct. If you are at La Palapa and you're heading to the restrooms, they have a nice collection of Puerto Vallarta old pictures. I am not going to enjoy photos that I did not take because that's not nice to the owners of the photographs. We try to avoid that as much as possible. But what we are going to do on Thursday evening is talk about personal stories as it relates to the photos that we're going to share. Let's see. Missing my beautiful Puerto Vallarta. Made horchata to ease my pain. Horchata is one of my favorite drinks. I love it. We always take our time and walk through that wall area and look at those awesome pictures. This will probably be La Palapa, I am guessing. And yes, there are a few people out there that have documented our city quite thoroughly. I, of course, having been the editor of Vallarta Lifestyles magazine for 12 years, it was part of my bread and butter. It was part of my mission. And again, I've lost quite a few photographs due to failing hard drives or theft or whatever. But the ones that I am finding, either because I posted them in social media or because they were in some hidden folder, are giving me all kinds of entertainment that I'm happy to share with you on Thursday. And again, this is what we have. This is a nice juicy comment from Gary. Previous years, there has been a parade with military. My favorite part was always the school children marching in their pristine uniforms. Yes, this has been part of the parade prior to the pandemic, and all these things, all these traditions are coming back as we engage with each other in the new normal. So hopefully that'll be the case. No sooner than that, we'll be wondering about what's going on for Day of the Dead. And again, a lot of people wish to come to Puerto Vallarta during that time, and we'll keep our eye open for celebrations when they get nearer. Between now and then, of course, we have a lot of things to do, a lot of things to cover, a lot of things to discover. So stay close to Coffee and Headlines. If you enjoyed today's broadcast and would like to become a member or support through buying coffees, these are the links. This is the link. But keep in mind that there's a difference between buying a coffee and being a member. Some of you just buy coffees because you feel like it. Some of you commit to a monthly or an annual membership, and it is the annual and monthly members that will have access to the content that we're going to be sharing on Thursday. Between now and the next time we get together, stay happy, stay kind, have a great week, and I hope to see you again soon.